Hello, welcome to Shadwell. It has actually been pretty rainy today, so I didn't get a chance to go to the skate park. But what I decided to do today is I wanted to pay a visit to 6th Street. 6th Street has a very significant meaning to me. So a little storytelling time. My journey is usually what I call these videos, part of my journey. So let's just take a look. If you look at 6th Street, notice it is packed with bars, clubs, all the way down. I mean, I think it goes from, like, you know, the edge of downtown down that way a little ways. I don't remember. I want to say it was more like 8 blocks of cruising and stuff. Back in the day. So back in the day for me was late 80s, out of high school. I joined the Army and after basic training, we came down to Fort Hood, Texas, and that's where I was stationed. I was an M1 Abrams crew member. I was the driver of the tank, and on the weekends we drive down from Fort Hood to Austin here to basically hang out here on 6th Street, and I have not been here since then. This is the first time after how many years? Jesus, trying to do math here. So it's been over 35 years, I think. That's about right, since I've been here. And I talk about my sobriety from time to time, but that era in my life was when I was the worst. Upper teens, early 20s. I drank a lot, and I drank heavily. And what was interesting is I made the drinking age in Minnesota before it went up to 21, so I was able to buy in Minnesota. But when I came down here, the drinking age was 21, and they didn't honor my ability to buy drinks, so I had to get a fake ID or, you know, find somebody to buy for me, and I would drink. And then sometimes there were a couple of dance clubs and stuff I like to go to. Yes, I did like to dance. And so I would drink in my truck. When I got down to Fort Hood, I bought a Chevy 77 Chevy C10. It was a Silverado, but back then Silverado was actually a trim level. It wasn't the model, because right now Silverado is the truck model. Back then they had like the Cheyenne or Cyan or something like that, which was the lower model. Silverado was the more decked out one. But you know, it was like a 10-year-old truck by the time I bought it. But I would come down here, you know, if I couldn't get into a bar to drink or anything like that, or get the right stamp, I would drink outside of the bar and then go in. But I would get drunk pretty much every single time, and then I would like stay in a motel or something down here to sober up, because I wasn't gonna drive back when I was all wasted. But you know, and I was always trying to pick up girls and all that stuff. It was kind of crazy times. And then after I got out of the Army, I wasn't really happy in the Army, and I'm not going to get too into that story, but when I got out of the Army and got back to Minnesota, I was, you know, heavily drinking. I was partying, and it was probably the most heavy drinking and kind of partying and blacking out and being hungover the next day that I had in my life. And then when I turned 24, I quit. I just quit cold turkey. I got sober, and that was right around when I started working at Twin City BMX. And the reason I quit was because I didn't want to screw up my opportunities and stuff. So I quit. I didn't go into any programs or anything, which I kind of wish I would have, because I think that would have helped me get through some of the issues that I had, but I didn't. And I went 7 years sober, I was hanging around with friends that were straight edge and didn't drink and riding BMX all the time and so on and so forth. But then in 2000, I started dating a woman and she drank, and I just thought, oh, I'm older now, I'll be able to drink responsibly and stuff. So I did that, and didn't work out so well. I mean, at first it was fine, but I gradually got back into drinking heavier and heavier and drinking all the time. But I wouldn't say that I would get wasted all the time. It was more that I just drank all the time. Like, I'd get off work and start drinking and stuff, but I kind of learned how to like pace myself and not get too wasted. I would sometimes, though, when life wasn't going so good, and I would just get completely wasted because it was my way to like make myself feel better, right? And it never did, never worked, right? But I thought it would. It's kind of like alcohol is like a temporary fix, right? So I just thought that since it's raining today and I'm here in Austin for the first time in well over 30 years, I would just take a look at 6th Street and kind of, you know, maybe cleanse some demons that I still have from those days coming down here and just getting way out of hand. I was pretty bad. I got kicked out of bars because I wasn't legal, and once they figured that out, I'd get kicked out and stuff like that, and I was always pretty belligerent. I mean, I just wasn't being a very good person back then, but I wasn't happy. You know, I wasn't happy in the Army. I wasn't happy, you know, with life. I had a girlfriend going into the Army, and while I was in the Army, she cheated on me. So we ended up breaking up. You know, I just had all these like negative things. Yeah. But this is 6th Street. This is a well-known spot. And it has changed, obviously. It's got upgraded, but it hasn't changed that much. It is still like packed with bars, and it'd be curious to know if people still cruise this, like, because we used to just cruise up and down the street and it would be packed. Oh, I have a feeling that's an electric Cadillac. That's the first time I've seen one. What is it called? A Lyric? Yeah, that thing's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I like that. Anyway, yeah, people would cruise up and down. Obviously it's a one-way street, so it'd all be packed. Yeah, that is an electric Cadillac Lyric. Sweet. Awesome. I've only read about those. I haven't actually seen one. Yeah. So yeah, that's my story about 6th Street. And it's pretty wild to come down here and check it out and just see that it really hasn't changed that much. And you can still see like the old kind of brick streets and stuff like that. And I will be here in Austin Friday night and Saturday night, and I might actually just cruise over here on my bike and just see if it's as crazy as it was back then. It might not actually, it's not going to be as warm out, it's going to be a little colder, but I don't know. I'm very curious. It'd also be funny if I saw a bunch of GIs down here. That would actually be funny, because I'm pretty sure that they come down from Fort Hood and still party here. I can't see why they would have stopped doing that. That's what we did. Sweet. I appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.